the chest pad and using the chest pad, that's the number one tip for back.
Wicked, 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 wicked. Wicked tones, you know.
So I'm mad when I'm texting. My lips slowly start like curling in. Something we've talked about at nauseum. Talked about it at nauseum. So just this most like the chest pad and using the chest pad, that's the number one tip for back. People don't do that. The number two, which is almost tied for first, which we've talked about in like dumbbell rows and different things we've talked about. I'm going to explain why it would actually make this horrible Nautilus row effective if you actually did the right positioning of your head. So I saw a guy fucking brutalizing that today, but anyway. So when we set here, one of the most important things is understanding that this distance from my ear to my shoulder needs to be as open as it can. So this triangle, or this like 90-degree angle that it looks like here, it needs to like stay there. I don't want to go here or crunch down this angle more and more and more and more till I get like here, because I can't get any retraction here and I can't get any lift on my chest. So the further I stay away from stuff, and the more lift I can get, and the more throw of shoulder I can get. It's like you can see it on any lift. So if I do it the way that I do it, and I'd set up here and I'd set my shoulder down, pressure down low, like we talk about, chin up high, or just chin at least level, and my tension is like my head pushing this way a bit. So I'm still over here, I may be over this side, but my head is pushing back to this hand. So I'm not letting this happen. I'm not like slowly starting this. I'm keeping this rigid. So I'm rigid up the back and I'm rigid towards this side. That I'm keeping myself stable here so that everything else can move around. Almost when I pull this, it's almost like I'm forcing this ear forward a bit. So I'm almost driving things back and making this head kind of drift this way. So I want to swing through things and keep things low so that I let out from lat. Because if I don't allow this shoulder to stay low and I don't let this hand pull me out, so if my shoulder is what's letting me out like everybody does, even if they have good movement, their shoulder is the one letting them out, you see this coming up. If this isn't happening, if I'm not here and this hand is leading the way, so my body isn't moving right now. My shoulder isn't moving, my hand's leading the way, then my shoulder goes. Then my hand breaks, and then my shoulder goes. So there's a sequence of movement with keeping that erect posture. So we can see it on there where we're trying to keep this angle, we're trying to keep this ear away from this shoulder, right? We gotta do it over here. Cutting edge shit right here.
Never seen before.
Now, dude, I'm trying to think of what arm, oh shit, that was almost my toe. What arm doesn't suck? So I'm gonna prove a point on this after too, just to piss people off. So this fucking horrible device, it's not horrible. It's actually pretty good if you know how to use it. I'm keeping this ear away from this shoulder. So I'm not doing like all these guys do. Look where my head is here. Look at the angle of this. It's tiny now. There's no space here. Because I'm getting all my weight here and I'm pulling down into here. And you'll get lat probably right when you get here. You'll feel a contraction. But you're still letting out shoulder and you're just pulling hand down. It's not hand and then shoulder. There's a difference. Even if we're doing this, there's a difference in hand taking me and pulling my lat out and then me pulling down, or doing it the right way we're supposed to do it. My hand takes me out. I let my shoulder relax and I drop this elbow and I rock through. So my momentum goes back and drags to a spot where I can't pull any further because my lat is engaged. Just like you can only curl so high on a bump bicep curl because your bicep will not fucking pull or squeeze any harder or flex any stronger. I can't, this is the height, I can't get to here. By going, it's more bicep squeeze, more bicep squeeze. Like, no, it's just here, that's where it is, and then you can let it go, right? So it's the same thing here. These guys set up like we've talked about before. Hips are in here, so they're fucking tight up in here. I have all the leverage in the world now. I'm gonna put it on in 2 seconds. 4 plates on here. I'm gonna lean here, I'm just gonna let my shoulder be down. So all my weight's in the ground right now. I'm literally just pulling this handle down here. So I have nothing but leverage. So literally if I stay here, can you put the camera down? Film it. Put 2 plates on that. Put 2 more plates on top of that. Let me get used to one first. Let me get used to one first. There you go. Yeah. So I'm locked here. I can go up here and I can lean back. I can lean back. All that shit. So it's the same shit. I have leverage. It's heavy, of course, to keep it there, but I just gotta lean harder. Do you understand? Like, you're not doing anything impressive by putting more weight on there. Whereas if I can't even fucking move that, I can't even fucking set that to do it properly. I can't set it even. I can't even move it off the fucking stack to get on lat. Like I can pull it down and set it here, but like I can't hold it on my lat. It's taking me up, right? And I would venture to guess that my lats are more developed than most of you watching. So if people like who have backs aren't pulling that weight, why are you? What's the point? Like, so you can fucking look cool on video, like I just did. We'll splice it so I'm like leaning with the fucking 4 plates and rocking my shoulder up, pulling this thing down. But I got nothing out of my back on that. My back's fucking doing jack shit. My forearm's strained like fuck from holding onto that. But again, if you don't keep that frame, if we don't keep this frame, so shoulder's already depressed, so we're not doing this all the time. So we're not killing this angle by bringing this up. I'm always down here. Then I don't want to get closer to it either. I want to keep this frame that we have here, to sit with it. So I can find where my lat is here a little bit, and then I posture my head away again. So I can even get here and get it, and I can posture my head back out. And then I can create this swing of rocking. Because I'm looking this way, so my head pressure is that way. It's towards the other end of the gym. So that I can slide my shoulder down. Let my hand rise me out in here. I've seen a lot of, there's one person in specific, and I'll shout him out because he's a fucking badass bodybuilder, he's a good dude. Hunter Labrada, you can see him training now. I don't know who he's training with. I'm sorry if I don't know your name. He's training with a guy in Houston, I think at Vintage something or other. I saw a clip. Hunter's back is opening now, more than I've ever seen it open, because he's structurally setting up and lifts better. It's visual, it's literally visibly evident in a fucking short amount of time, because it's not that he didn't have a back, or people that don't have backs, like don't have a back. It's that the back isn't opening the way it should, because it's not used to letting out. So when it hits shots, it's still pinched. It's still this like pinched shit all the time, because I never get used to, like, my shoulder does everything. My shoulders do lift up my arms, you know what I mean? So it's like vast improvements can be made in a short amount of time if you guys just understand this spacing and this pressure down. So if I keep this ear away from this shoulder and I do pulls more, whether they're in front of me, whether they're above my head, doesn't matter. You're gonna have drastic results in your back. Like, I'm talking like, people will be telling you, oh man, your back got wider, your back got so much better. I trained Julia from Toronto, she won the Toronto Pro. She thinks she has a bad back, but as soon as you see, which she doesn't, but like what you see when the back starts moving and the person starts letting things go and the actual back, you see the lat move from the body. That's not leaning, guys. That's not momentum. This is like, I'm chest pad here and this is my hand as far as they have been going, but this is how far my lat can go. And then I can pull. That extra like 2 inches of movement of the back going like this now, instead of just going here all the time, it's now going and then pulling back in, makes the person stand up and they're like, holy fuck, like I'm set down more, like my back is like, I feel my back working, right? So there's plenty of muscle back there, it's just how it's sitting and how people are feeling it. If you're moving fucked up and all you're trying to do is pull weights around, it's never gonna happen. I see guys like, I watch everybody, especially in this industry. I've seen guys that are like supposed to be like the next big things and like big talk and like they're like the future of the sport. I'm seeing them regress because they're fucking training too fucking heavy and they're not focusing on developing the parts they need to develop. They're literally like underdeveloping now. They're regressing. So other body parts are coming up more than they should, and they're shadowing or hindering the lower developed body part because it's just not working anymore, right? So guys really need to be careful of that. Where the hell did I put my phone?